All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the Good News Network. I'm Michael Reynolds. This is my good buddy, Chris White. We're here um, to share another story of some great work that's happening in the community. For those of you who are new to the Good News Network, or maybe haven't been with us for a while, just want to kind of refresh what we're doing and why. So Chris and I have known each other for quite a while, and we've had many conversations. And one day we were talking about a lot of the good things that were happening in our life. And it didn't sound like a lot of the other messages we were hearing from other sources. And we thought, hey, it would be great if there was a place where folks could hear about good stuff that's happening. And so we said, well, let's make that happen. So that's what we did, and that's why we're
That's
here.
exactly right, Michael. And hopefully to connect people together too, to to understand resources out there and how perhaps people who are working to support and love people can connect,
Yeah.
possibly.
Yep. Yeah. Great. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah,
So let's jump right in. Good to see you, brother.
you too as well. Yeah, good to
Um,
see
how
you.
how is how's your week been going? What's the highlight of your week so far?
I've been actually, brother, reflecting on that this morning, and I was thinking I'm so amazed how many random acts of kindness I have noticed and received
Mm,
this week.
hmm.
And I don't want to take the whole show talking about these random acts of kindness, but a couple of examples would be, you know, uh, walking into a place to meet a brother for a meeting, and the person behind the counter says, "Good morning, Chris."
Oh,
Like
wow.
making that very personal connection, that she remembers my name.
Yeah.
I've been there a few times. People letting me, brother, I'm not the greatest driver, but, I'm trying to take a left hand turn and I shouldn't. And people letting me in.
Yeah.
It's happened many times this week. You'd be amazed. Yeah. So, and then, you're going to say, Michael, you're going to say, what about your grandson? You always mention him.
There we go. It took 47 seconds this time.
Okay, I
I mean,
waited a
you're
little
slacking,
longer.
bro. You're slacking.
But my daughter-in-law sent a video of him sitting on the floor with a box of Cheerios
Hmm.
and eating them, and his dog, who is sitting right next to him. One for him,
Whatever.
one for the
The
dog. One for him, one for the dog. It was
dog.
so beautiful, that sharing, that that in his view, that act of kindness,
That's right. Yep. He's
to
like,
his dog. So um, anyway, I could keep going. Please tell me what's been the highlight of your week.
oh, that's great. It's so cool to hear, and I think it really is the little small things, the little acts of kindness that add up, right?
Hmm.
That's what gets us through the day and really puts together a nice life. So thank you for sharing
Amen.
those.
Yeah.
I will say, so I was at a conference actually yesterday. And I had a great time. We had some really good conversations. I went with some coworkers. But one of the sessions I went to was this lady named Tracy Harris, and she is a flautist. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, that's a fancy word. I know.
I
I
like
do
it.
know some good words,
It's
Chris.
impressive. It's impressive that you had
I
that right there.
it's really the only reason I'm telling the story, just so I could show off
Okay.
my extensive vocabulary. But
Wonderful. Okay. I'll call you when I have a crossword puzzle problem. Okay. Keep going.
So anyway, she had a history of this conference was based around like behavioral health, social rehabilitation, those sorts of things. And so she told her story about she had many struggles. I don't know how old she is. at this point, but she looked like she
Hmm.
was probably, middle aged. And when she was in her late teens, she started having some severe mental health issues.
Mm.
And it really disrupted. She was actually a child prodigy with her music, and it really disrupted
Wow.
her professional career. Um, but it was cool just hearing her story and how music kept her grounded and kept it was
Hmm.
something that she could go back to. It was so meaningful for her, and it was something that she could connect to. That also she talked about how the it kept her connected to the memory, like so certain things that she would play would remind her of times before she was experiencing those challenges.
Hmm.
And so it was a
Hmm.
way for her to remember who she was beyond what she was experiencing. Um, and
Right.
and so she's had some really good success in her recovery now, and is has a different
Mm.
experience of life. And her brother was there running slides, and
Hmm.
he had been a child prodigy for the cello and had been in an accident, and lost a lot of his motor skills, and so he wasn't able to play music anymore, but he switched to doing composing. And so he's there, and their relationship was just cool. The way they just were going back and forth with each other. But he started composing music for her. And so now she plays compositions that he does in concerts all over the world. She's actually become, I had never heard of her, but I'm learning that, you know, I don't know a lot about flautists, unfortunately, but I'm learning.
Hmm.
But one of the compositions that he wrote for her is now being considered for a Grammy nomination. And so
Wow.
just so cool to hear the story of both of these
Hmm.
individuals who had major tragedies and major struggles in their life, who just said, okay, I'm just going to keep being agile and move with this and figure out a way to move forward and find success and
Right.
at whatever
Adapt.
level I'm able to. So it was
Right.
incredibly encouraging. And I was so grateful that I chose that session because I was considering another one, but it was beautiful. So
What
yeah, I
a
left there
beautiful
feeling,
story of resiliency,
yeah,
right? And adapting. You have these natural, wonderful gifts, and you're figuring out another way to love people and support people and
totally.
show that. So yeah,
Yep, yep,
beautiful.
yep. And she had a whole nother aspect of how communication or
Hmm.
how music transcends all cultural community, like all cultures and community language, and how
Hmm.
it connects people. It was really cool. I was really glad that I was there. So
Wow.
anyway, that was so far that's the highlight of my week. So yeah. Well, thank you for sharing yours. And now we want to move into introducing our guests. So we're going to invite our friend Erin Aboud from Chrysalis Light to come and join us. She's going to jump in from the virtual green room. How was the massage in the green room, Erin? Do we set you
So
up right?
nice. Thank you,
Okay.
gentlemen. I really appreciate that.
Nothing but the best for our guests. We like
Thank
to take care of our
you.
folks. So
Yes. And the
Very
cider and
true.
strawberries were just top notch too.
awesome. Very
Wow.
good. I
Wow.
like it.
I didn't realize we had the budget for that,
Oh,
Michael, but yeah,
I mean,
okay.
look at this. Look at this. I mean, we don't spend it
Okay.
all on my wardrobe, Chris. Come on.
Okay, okay. Very good.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Aaron. We really appreciate you being here. You want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and your background, and then we get into Chrysalis Light and that program.
Sure. My name's Erin Aboud. I am the executive director and founder of Chrysalis Light Recovery Homes here in Reno. I had been inspired by this program because of my personal experience back home in Idaho, and I had felt the calling to bring it here into our area. And so
Hmm.
that started, just around December of last year, and I had the blessing and mentorship to from the Idaho founder to bring it here to the Reno area. So I'm been hitting the ground running ever since.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Amazing. Hmm.
So I'd love to hear about the program. What is the program? I know you're in the beginning stages of preparing to open your first home, but I know you've experienced the program, and so tell us what that looks like.
Yeah, so it's going to be a 6 to 18 month program, you have the option to either get a 6-month certificate or you can continue on and complete the 18-month graduation program. And the idea is to create a safe place with structure, accountability, and life skills that we might have lacked growing up and coming from addiction, homelessness, justice system impacted. And the whole idea is to teach them the love of Jesus Christ. We can't do this life in recovery without finding our spirituality. That's really the stepping stone for long-term success in recovery that I've seen personally in my life and others around me. And so we'll be teaching life skills classes. So some of that will be boundaries, financial literacy. It's going to be about relationships, biblical classes, Bible studies, everything encompassing Jesus Christ and what he did on the cross, with love, with grace, with dignity, support, accountability. What makes us unique, I feel like, for the Reno area is we will be offering accountability coaches versus peer-to-peer coaching. So the accountability coaches will be older. They will be married and stable or stable and single, not out there in unhealthy relationships or just that old lifestyle. They're going to have some financial stability, relationship stability, and of course, stable in their relationship with God. And the idea is to walk alongside these women through the program. So they meet with them once a week. They go over their goals. It's going to be financial goals, relational goals, education goals, and just walk with them through life on life's terms, giving them that ultimate support that they need to come from addiction and homelessness and the justice system impacted and get through it on the other side. Michael, you know personally the impact of walking alongside somebody and the way it sets them up for success with that support that they need. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm a little nervous coming from the program side of it. So I graduated from this program 13 years ago. I have 14 years in recovery. I've been clean and sober since 2011.
That's awesome.
And this program changed my life. I was hopeless, homeless, kidless. The courts gave up on me. My family gave up on me. And this was really my last resort, interesting enough. And coming into this home, being faith-based, I was open-minded and willing and desperate. But the home itself and the program filled with love, all the volunteers, all the mentors, all the coaches, they show up regularly and they just love on the women there. And that is what gave me a human feel for God's love, is through the women of that program that set it up for success. It's amazing. I would not be here today. And through that program, so it's like a perfect recipe. I come from chaos, brokenness. I'm desperate. I need help. My hands are up. I start IOP, which is intensive outpatient, and it's a treatment for drugs and alcohol. So I'm there. And then I come into this program, and it's still not completely clicking for me, but I keep doing it and I keep doing it. And I'm still kind of hanging out with the same people, places, and things, and it hasn't sunk completely. And it doesn't happen until I understand what Jesus did on the cross for me. It wasn't until that moment I realized that he died on the cross for me and that I'm worth dying for. And it's that perfect recipe of what the home and that program was teaching me, with the love and the classes and the accountability, on top of the experiences I was having out in the world. This program isn't meant to shelter. There's not a blackout period. They can have their cell phones. We do have like a 30-day stabilization period where the girls they're not allowed to work during the 30 days. But that's to give them a safe place to unwind coming in from where they came from and guide them through their immediate needs. And so from that, though, the program coming out from the world, having the safe place, it just really sets you up for success.
Wow.
Wow.
what a beautiful program. And that
Hmm.
piece of the one-to-one coaches, the ladies who are showing up and, you know, sharing that love with them. And that, you know, Chris and I have done in each of the shows that we've done. I think it's that relationship is the key to everything that we talk about,
That's
right?
right.
It's
That's
someone
right.
being there, sharing that love. And I hear that. And I know, you know, I'm also in recovery, and I've often told people that the biggest, if I did a lot of things that were helpful, the one thing I did that was essential was surround myself with men who had what I wanted and listen to them and stop listening to myself, right? And so I love that you
Hmm.
mentioned that they're married, they're stable, they're exhibiting the good outcomes in their life that these women are hopefully moving toward for themselves. And so I love that focus on that. How did you initially hear about the program?
Hmm.
Jail. I
Okay.
Jail becomes extremely resourceful when you're desperate and pleading, I'll do anything, I'll do anything. And so
Hmm.
Hmm.
for me, there were only a couple options. There's Back when it was 2011, there was a few sober homes. And so I had a choice to go to just a sober home. There was no program
Yeah.
implemented into that home, or I could try this faith-based one. And
Hmm.
I'd always been curious about God. I never said I didn't believe. I just didn't have that personal relationship, and so
Hmm.
I was curious. And yeah, it was jail.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Is that
Wow.
the light shines brightest
That's
in the dark,
amazing.
right? The darker it is, the brighter that light becomes.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
excellent. Chris, did you have questions that you wanted you have for Erin? I got more. I'm
Well,
happy to
just
jump in, but just wanted to give you opportunity.
yeah, let me just first, Aaron, thank you. My heart is overflowing to hear your story and how you're loving people in the way that you were loved.
Mhm.
And I'm curious a little bit about the name of this, and I imagine, I'm not sure, but I imagine that your name, Chrysalis Light, the program, the name is foundational in terms of what your ministry goals are, you know, and
Mhm.
taking care of women. And I wonder if you could just either talk about that or maybe a personal story of someone anonymously who's experienced this foundational mission in the name of your program. So I'm just curious.
So the Idaho program is called Chrysalis Women's Transitional Living.
Okay.
Mm.
And initially, when I started this journey, I wanted to twist it from my experience in Idaho and create my own. And my
Mm.
thing has been be the light.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Hmm.
And so I thought it would be first off, chrysalis is the part of a caterpillar in the cocoon, getting ready to break free. You can't help them. They
Hmm.
have to do it all on their own
Hmm.
in order to break free and become beautiful and
Hmm.
turn into a butterfly. That's
Hmm.
where chrysalis came from.
Okay.
And for me to be the light has always been something since coming to know the Lord and the experience I came from. I was from darkness.
Hmm.
That's all I ever knew until I turned 23 and stepped
Hmm.
into this home.
Hmm.
And so I really wanted to offer that here in our community. And off the top of my head, we're just now starting our Waymakers volunteer team. And LIGHT is an acronym that is love, integrity, guidance, honesty, and trust. That is
Hmm.
what we are going to be living by, offering, and guiding the women to have as well.
Hmm.
And so it's really all encompassing. She did offer us to work under her umbrella, but I decided to pivot a little bit to give us the option to cater to our Reno needs. And then if God allows it, we can step in and help men one day. I don't know what that looks like,
Mm-hmm.
but definitely wanted to encompass the roots of where I came from.
Right. Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Michael?
Yeah, so I'm curious. I know you had an event last weekend that was a big event for you. There are some clips out there when we do the show notes, we'll make sure to put those clips in the show notes so folks
For
can
sure.
see a little bit about it. But would you like to talk about what that was like for you and what that experience was, and maybe some of the what came from your uh, from I'm going to use the friend raiser event that you had, which I love
Yeah.
that. I love that term.
When I first started this, I was winging it. So I didn't really have anything planned. I just wanted to let the community know who we are, who we're looking to serve, and ways to partner up. And then
Mm-hmm.
it kind of evolved into, well, how are we going to raise funds? We should probably incorporate fundraising into this first event. So initially got a plan a seed to have it be just a community event. It's a free event.
Hmm.
And just to let Reno know that we are getting ready to do this in our area. And so it evolved, and I've just been putting in the footwork, getting to know our churches here in town, different professionals, looking for ways to collaborate, figuring out how we can come together. And then it kind of started to just fall into place for silent auction items, for our raffle item for Belize. The Idaho founder was able to come and share her story, and my dear friend and alumni graduate from the Idaho program also came to share her
Wow.
story. So it really started to come together like a real event. So
Mm-hmm.
it was really, really exciting. I was able to get some businesses to sponsor, and eventually my home church was able to help bring in a large amount of money to support us and what we're getting ready to do.
Mm.
And through that and the other fundraising, we were able to meet our goals so we can open up our first home in March. We're on
Mm.
our
Wow.
way. But then again, it also turned us back to we were going to do the fundraiser idea. That's what, of course, that's what you do with your event.
Mm-hmm.
But initially, the whole point was to bring awareness to our community and who has the same heart to get behind this and get involved. And so, through our church and their generous donation, we've been able to gain the the volunteers that we needed from our friend raiser, and that's what it ended
Wow.
up being. It was absolutely incredible. I was terrified. Michael was there and he heard a bit of my story. In the last 14 years, Chris, I have really been trying to blend in with society, not
Mm-hmm.
letting them know I'm a two-time felon. As an adult, that doesn't include my childhood.
Mm.
I was homeless. I was addicted. I was a failure to society. I didn't want anybody to know. I've been trying really, really hard to blend in, and I did a very, very good job. And so to step out into where God is calling me has been
Mm.
very uncomfortable at times
Mm-hmm.
because of the way I have tried to mask my testimony in the boldness. So stepping out onto that stage and sharing with people that didn't ever know my story, neighbors,
Mm-hmm.
coworkers, professionals, they don't know the depths of my darkness. They had no idea. And just to share it on that level, I've been feeling like God's been preparing me for the last couple years to do that. It was intimidating, but to feel the love and the support in that room, and it was incredible. I just felt like it was exactly where I needed to be. My entire life has been prepared for such a time as this.
Mm.
Every mistake, every good thing, every drawback, every delayed timing, every career choice has literally prepared me for such a time as this. And
Wow.
to step into this calling scared. When I am weak, he is strong. Like I'm just walking through it scared. That's kind of
Mhm.
been my anthem.
Wow. Wow. That is, wow. That is beautiful, Erin. Wow.
Mhm. So
Hmm.
I think, in my own experience, there's been points where I've felt like I'm being called or I need to move forward with something, and sometimes I do. I've learned now that when I don't, things don't work out well for me. So I try to do that more often now than in the past. But what? Because I know you talked about there was a moment where you felt that calling, and you kind of tried to shrink away from it a little bit. And then what was it that ultimately just propelled you forward to say, I'm going to do
Hmm.
this?
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, I'll back it up. 2023,
Hmm.
I'll back it up even more. 2020, I
Hmm.
wanted to become a notary. And in order to be a notary, you have to pass the background check.
Hmm.
And because I'm a two-time felon, I would not be allowed to become a notary. And
Hmm.
so I was frustrated. I'm living, traveling back and forth to Idaho. That's where my charges are. And I
Hmm.
see on the news that this clean slate bill is in legislation.
Hmm.
And so I decided to reach out to the senators that are on that clean slate bill. And I
Sure.
do it through Facebook Messenger. And I say, hey, I have a story. I keep getting roadblocked on my success, and I want to be an advocate for this. I feel like it could change lives. Let me get behind it. And nothing. And
Hmm.
then something comes up. I have another roadblock. I can't even remember off the top of my head what it was. I messaged him again. I said, I really want to get involved in this. Here's my story. That's what I did. I sent him
Hmm.
my entire life story. And I
Hmm.
said, let me be an advocate for this. And he says, it didn't pass this year. Reach back out to me next year. I'd love to get you involved.
Hmm.
So that must have been 2020, 2021. They start in 2022 legislation. He brings me on. I start talking to different, like the chairman of that clean slate bill, the
Wow.
different congressmen, lobbyists, and I'm sharing my story of how we do change and we do have hope, and to give us a second chance, we do deserve it.
Hmm.
And then I find out I do not qualify for that clean slate bill because I have two felonies
Oh,
instead of
wow.
one.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I I don't even, okay, I don't get the benefit from it, but I'm here to advocate for the people
Hmm.
that need to be advocated for. God
Yeah.
use me. And he said, well, have you ever heard of Stephanie Taylor Thompson? I'm like, no. He said, well, she's had a couple pardons. You should reach out to her. I'm like,
Hmm.
I won't reach out to her, but okay, I did my part, God. And so eventually, 2023, during legislation, he brings me in to share to testify. So I do that absolutely terrified. I don't
Hmm.
look up at all. I don't know how it goes. But we changed hearts in there, right? My
Hmm.
story, they got to see a human side to the bill that they were objecting,
Right.
and they got to see that we do change. We do deserve a second chance with the right, boundaries in place. Well, Stephanie Taylor Thompson was on Zoom testifying as well. So
Wow.
she sees me, I see her, and then she reaches out to me afterwards. And she says, let's be friends. I'd love to chat with you. I said, oh my gosh, that's great. I'm looking to get a pardon.
Hmm.
And so we get connected. She walks me through my entire pardon process.
Hmm.
I get both felonies pardoned with her assistance. She invites me to be on her board. It's called Empire Reentry and Recovery Solutions. It's
Hmm.
for justice advocacy and then also sex trafficking.
Wow.
And I start working underneath her. I want to learn from her. I want to serve with her. I want to advocate with her. And it was just great timing. Well, then her nonprofit kind of falls away, and recovery homes are coming up here, and a situation comes up where I could possibly be a part of this big recovery home organization that's happening back in Idaho, and I just didn't see how it would fit in with me. And
Hmm.
it also wasn't where I was most passionate, which is God and recovery. So if I'm going to step out and pour my work hours into something, it really needed to align.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Right.
said no to that job opportunity. And as I had mentioned, I was on my mission to make $100,000. That was my ultimate. I'm blending in normal society. I'm gonna make $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing really well as a virtual assistant. That's my business that I started in 2017. Um, and I thought that's what I was supposed to be doing. But everything leading up into that
Mm-hmm.
moment, I finally told God, okay, I don't need to make any money. What do you have for me? And that is when this seed was planted to bring the Chrysalis faith based recovery home here to Reno. Seed
Wow.
planted. And that was last December. And yeah, ever since then, and getting the blessing of the Idaho program, it's interesting when I say that I've been prepared for such a time as this.
Mm-hmm.
Every little detail has prepared me to bring this to Reno. I've been in peer to peer recovery the last 14 years. I've been a sponsor. I am sponsored. I actively work programs with ladies. And I haven't really been able to be my authentic true self, which I love God. I love recovery. I want to be here without it. And women come to me because they see the light in that. But there's a block. I can only go so far out of respect for the program, right? We want to respect the boundaries that are placed within that to keep it all inclusive. And so I honor that. And stepping out in this way is just another, it confirms again that I'm exactly where I need to be and loving the women the way that I love the women,
Exactly.
to give them the support that they need to have recovery the way that I do, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Isn't that the reason why we end up doing what we do? Is something has inspired us or something has hurt us along the way. And to be able to walk it out, I have never thought I was going to open up a recovery home. Never in a million years did I ever even think that this was something I was going to do. Never. Absolutely. I don't have to work, gentlemen. I get to be home and be a stay-at-home wife. And God has called me to this place to share the good news, to love on the women where they're at. They can make mistakes. We give them grace, just like Jesus did for us. And we just keep loving them to life. And not every woman's going to get it.
Yep.
We're just going to plant seeds along the way. We're going to welcome them back every time when they say, I'm ready to change, right? Because all they need is a little bit of window of clarity and heart change. And we're just going to say, if we have it, we're going to let you back in. We want to meet you where you're at. We want to love you back to life.
Mm. Wow.
So beautiful.
I am again just encouraged, Erin, to hear your story. Encouraged in my faith, encouraged and reminded, I'm sure our listeners will be as well. But a real personal story of redemption, of forgiveness, of hope, and of love, right? And now what do we do? Now what do we do with that love? That God doesn't make mistakes. Even you've said a couple times that you have been prepared for this. And I see that, and he uses everything. He uses everything to prepare us on how we can spread that light. And I am touched that you have the word light on your arm and that your life is reflecting that purpose. So thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank
Chris.
you, Erin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as you're telling this story and going through how this all came together and you end up testifying in a congressional hearing, and like all this stuff, I'm thinking, if I saw this in a movie, I'd be like, that never happens. That would never happen,
Exactly.
right? And yet,
Exactly.
and yet the more I engage in conversations like this, and particularly, and I know you know this, I mean, you and I met at a reentry summit, right? And so that's where our paths crossed. And particularly in the reentry space, more and more I'm hearing these stories, and I think it's just, I think that's the beauty of your message to them, to the legislatures, of we do change, because there's so much thought process out there. There's so much messaging. There's so, it's just like, someone goes so far and then it's just too late, right?
Right.
And it's just not true. It's just
No.
not true, right? When someone has someone, others invest in them and show them love and give them opportunity, as you said, it may take two times, it may take five times, it
Mhm.
may take
That's
10
right.
times, but they didn't get there through one bad circumstance either,
No.
right? So
No.
expecting one opportunity to fix everything is just nonsense. And so, but I think, just again, hearing your story and knowing that, I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. And I know that you're doing
Mhm.
this because you've seen your story happen in many people around you, right? Like, this is not, I mean, as incredible as it is, it's not unique. And you know that this is
No. That's
possible,
right.
which is why you're preparing this opportunity for others in your
Right.
community to do this. And that is just so
Mm.
encouraging and brings so much hope, and just and that opportunity to be the light, to spread the light, so that others will be doing what you're doing, right? Like, someone passed that on to you, and now you're preparing
Yep.
to pass that on to many others, and
Hmm.
to allow and inviting others into that, the ladies who are going to be the accountability coaches, and
Yes. Yes.
all those little lights coming together just make this huge beam, right? that really
That's right.
encompasses everyone.
Exactly
So
right.
so beautiful.
It's been pretty incredible how it's fallen into place. I have had so much peace
Mm,
through it, knowing that God's timing is perfect timing. I don't want
Mm.
to force anything. If it's meant to be, it will be. And
mm,
everything is aligning up just perfectly. It's
Mm.
been, I didn't think it would actually happen, right? I didn't see how it would actually come to life. I just believed it should. I believed it could.
Hmm.
And to have it fall into
Mm.
place, like, yeah, that's when you know you're just right where you are meant to be.
mhm.
So much
Amen.
love, so much
Hmm.
Yeah.
support, so much encouragement. And I want to mention too, Reno Sparks
Mhm.
is ready for it. That's what
Mm.
makes that, I believe that's what makes it unique, is I'm not getting pushback from anybody,
Mm.
secular, Christian, anywhere.
Wow.
Everybody's like, we need more. We need a different pathway. I can
Mm,
help you open up 5 of these homes right away because there's a need
wow.
and there's a want, right?
Right. Right.
It's just a matter of bringing it to life in the right place at the right time.
That's right.
That is
That's right.
incredible. Wow, that
And,
is
and
amazing.
letting God do all the work, right? And it
Mhm.
ultimately, He's got it all planned out. So, wow.
Yeah, I'm excited. And then also, we're getting ready to do the reentry summit here too. And that's another thing that is
Mm.
just God led and Reno ready, northern region ready, I believe, because
Mhm.
we need to have more conversations like this. My story is not unique.
That's right.
I believe that there are so many others
Mm.
that are missed out on opportunities of
Hmm.
recovery and success because
Mhm.
of judgment and biasness and
Mhm.
our judicial system. So yeah, I'm stepping into this place and hopefully leading the way where we can bring change.
Mhm. So cool. Yeah. Again, thinking of that reentry summit, and I was there with the coworker, and after the first keynote speaker, we looked at each other and said, "I could leave now and be good," right? And
Wow.
it was just so powerful, and the story of transformation. And then the next one was just as powerful, and the next one, and that's what's just so exciting for
Yep.
me in this particular space, and what you're doing is that I think there is something about that, like you used the word desperation, that I heard one time. I've heard that the term crisis in, I think it's in Chinese, the characters mean opportunity and the place where change happens, right?
Hmm.
And I think that's what you're providing, and that's, that you and these ladies in this program It's just
Hmm.
it's amazing. It's amazing to see, and I can't wait to continue to follow this. And
Yes,
you know,
yes,
after you open get
yes.
your first home open in March, and
Yeah.
you know, we're definitely going to have you back on the program to talk about how it's going and share the stories of this journey
Mm,
to so those who are watching can continue to follow along with you as well. And we
Thank you.
absolutely,
I
will
appreciate it.
absolutely.
we'll definitely put contact information for you, your website in the show notes so folks can follow you that way as well as get connected and make referrals and also be of support in however way that they're able. Chris, you have any other questions for Erin?
No, but as Michael put beautifully, please keep us posted, Aaron. And I haven't talked to Michael about this, but we'd love to have a follow-up conversation, maybe after March
Mhm.
and just so we can be lifting you up and sharing the good news.
Thank you,
Mhm.
brother. I appreciate that. I'd
Hmm.
love that.
Yeah.
Thanks for
So
having me, guys.
thank you. Any other good news that's going on in your life you want to share before we go?
Hmm.
I think no, this is all my good news, right? I'm coming off of a high from last weekend,
Yeah.
and that's been building for almost a year now. And
Yeah.
so like I had mentioned, our community is really welcoming it, and that is really great news because it hasn't met too much resistance.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think if there's anything that somebody listening can take away today is knowing that the work that we've done or gone through and
Mhm.
getting ready to do, it will be revealed in its perfect timing, and to have faith that we are,
Hmm.
going to be used for the glory of God.
All
Mhm.
right.
Beautiful. Thank you
Amen.
so much for taking time. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for
Hmm.
the work that you do. And thank you for being you. You are an incredible inspiration and source of hope for me. And I'm sure many, many, many folks who are going to see this and just know that it's never over unless we quit, right? And so just thank you for your inspiration.
Thanks for
Hmm.
having me.
All
Till we
right.
meet
Well,
again, gentlemen.
All
yes,
right,
thanks
for
so
sure.
much. We'll talk to you
Absolutely.
soon. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Wow.
Okay. Wow.
What do you think, Chris?
Well, I tell you, brother, I'm not usually short on words, but I'm a little short on words
I
right
can
now.
verify that. I can verify that. No, you know,
Yeah.
one of the things that came to mind for me, when I think about faith, one of the images that always kind of signifies that for me is, um, in I think it's Indiana Jones. I can't remember if it's Indiana Jones or Star Wars, but where
Hmm.
they're like there's instructions that like you have to move forward there and walk across the bridge, but there's no bridge there, and they
Oh, right, right,
say, you
right. Yeah.
know, it's like no, you just have to walk, and the person just kind of is like okay, and they're like over this huge chasm, right, and they take a
Right,
step,
right.
and the bridge emerges, and that's what I hear in Erin's
Hmm.
story so clearly is like I have no idea. I didn't think it was going to work. I've just been waiting for it to fail, and every time I take a step, the bridge appears, and that's
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
you know, I think it's just such an encouraging message and a good reminder that we don't know what's waiting for us, and just following our passion and following that pull of what we know we're supposed to do, and
That's
and
right. That's
and
right.
letting the rest work itself out.
That's
It's
right.
it's so cool, so cool.
And as we have seen in all our shows, this idea of the power of relationship
Yeah.
and the power of love,
Hmm.
it's you can put up anything against it, but it ultimately it's not going to be successful because
Yeah.
relationship and love win.
Yeah.
So,
That's yeah, well said. Very well said. Yeah. Awesome. Well, before we wrap up, I always like to talk about what you're looking forward to. So, what's coming up for you that you're excited about, looking forward to?
Well, keep it simple in the sense that how I s- started our conversation today,
Mm,
and experiencing random acts of kindness
hmm
that have just been overflowing this week for me. But I'm looking forward to see how I can be put in opportunities to
mm,
demonstrate random acts of kindness.
hmm
That I will be open to my fellow human beings around me in my sphere of influence. That when I'm prodded and I go, this is an opportunity to love somebody unconditionally, and just and demonstrate that. That's what I look
hmm
forward to this week.
Awesome. That's beautiful. Um, well,
How about you?
yeah, I was thinking about this before the show. And don't judge me, but
I won't.
yeah, well, we'll see. I'm I love NASCAR, and
Okay. All right.
um, and
I know that. I
I
know
know,
that. That's
I know you
beautiful.
do, but it's still, not everyone does, and so, I always feel a little sheepish about it for whatever
Okay.
reason. But no, I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I got into it several years ago. I was never interested in it growing up, and then I ended up sitting down and
Mm.
watching a race with someone who I was just interested in having a conversation with, and just fell in love with the strategy.
Hmm.
Anyway, all that to say is they're in the playoffs, and this weekend
Oh,
is a cutoff race, and it is my favorite race of the year. It's a short track. It's in Bristol, and so it's a iconic track, and it's a short track, so they never get away from one another. They're always like trying to pass, and so anyway, that's Saturday night, and it's a night race too, which adds another cool element to it because it's under the lights and all that stuff.
right.
So yeah, it's a simple
Of
thing,
course.
but it'll be fun. I've been looking to it forward to it for a
Oh, but
while.
it's
So
fun. Oh,
totally.
I hear you, brother. I I had the opportunity to go to the Sonoma race one
Oh yeah.
year with a friend, and
Mm.
boy, I'll tell you, it's exciting. It's
Yeah.
this, like you said, the strategy. There's so much thinking and adjusting and being
Yeah.
flexible, right? And rethinking your whole plan several times during the
Exactly.
race,
That's
you
right.
know,
Yeah.
and so if you don't adapt, you're going to lose
Yeah.
or you're not
Yeah.
going to finish,
That's what was
so
fascinating to me was it's often not the fastest car that wins. It's usually it's
no.
as much as often as not, it's a strategy call. It's a choice that's made that is
Mm-hmm.
taking a risk or doing something differently or
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's beautiful. The other thing that really captured me about it was how like this is a community of people. Like pretty much every other sport, like they play one week and then they don't see each other for months, or maybe that's the only
Mm-hmm.
time they see each other all year, right? And they don't even
Mm-hmm.
really interact. This is a
Mm-hmm.
traveling community. These are the same folks that are racing against each other week after week. They're traveling around the country to these different tracks together. It's really a community, and their families know each other. Often their
Mm-hmm.
kids are growing up together, racing
Mm-hmm.
go-karts together. And so there's just an aspect to that that's just not like there's nothing else in sports. And it's really anyway,
Okay.
enough
Well,
about that.
that's all right, brother. I think that's cool, and I'm so glad you shared.
Yeah.
Um, Hey,
Awesome.
thank you for today. Wonderful. I just and the you're helping to get this organized and helping this beautiful conversation to unfold today. Thank
Oh
you,
man,
Michael.
it's so cool. I'm just so grateful that, all the different the amazing folks that we know and
Hmm.
get to interact with. I mean, that's the biggest joy for me is for other people to get to know these folks because I just feel so fortunate
Hmm.
to know so many amazing people doing such great work. And so, yeah, it is a true joy.
Amen.
So awesome.
Mm.
Well, thank you all again for
Okay.
for joining us. I'm positive you were inspired by Erin's story, highly encourage you
Hmm.
to follow her. We will have contact information in the show notes so you can stay up on what she's doing. We will have her back at a future point so we can check back in with her and share more of her updates as her story continues to unfold. So thank you all. We wish you a great week, and until we see you next time, keep looking for the good.
Bye now.
Adios, everyone.